Well, last weekend, President Trump called former VP Joe Biden a puppet for China, citing a controversial one-way financial deal that he negotiated with Beijing back in 2013. One America's Richard Pollock has more on that from Washington.
Biden is a puppet for China. Son walked out with $1.5 billion. I think it's a little bit.
That's President Trump at his Tulsa, Oklahoma rally. The president noted what we've known for quite a while, that Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, traveled with his dad aboard Air Force Two on an official trip to China. In Beijing, Hunter cut a lucrative $1.5 billion deal with a Chinese bank. But less well known is that on the same exact trip, the vice president was the architect of an awful economic memorandum of understanding with China. The memorandum permits Chinese companies operating in this country to avoid U.S. accounting practices. Since a young senator, Joe Biden has been soft on China. In 2011, he declared a rising China was in fact a positive development.
As a young member of the Foreign Relations Committee, I wrote and I said, and I believe then what I believe now, that a rising China is a positive development, not only for China, but for America and the world writ large.
Frank Gaffney, executive chairman of the Center for Security Policy, says the Biden memorandum, which the vice president personally negotiated with Beijing, permitted Chinese companies to get a free ride and avoid compliance with U.S. accounting standards.
The Chinese don't have to be transparent. They don't have to meet our accounting standards. They don't have to engage in material risk disclosure, thanks to the memorandum that Joe Biden helped engineer.
Gaffney says Biden gave the Chinese preferential terms that allowed them to collect nearly $3 trillion from American investors.
Interestingly enough, he was the prime mover behind a memorandum of understanding that allowed the Chinese Communist Party and its companies to have access to our capital markets on preferential terms. That alone, by some estimates, translated into some $3 trillion that has migrated from those capital markets to China, enabling much of the bad business that we see from them now.
For One America News, this is Richard Pollock from Washington.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.